Hello, and welcome to week 6 of English 120. This week, we're going to be talking about editing and revising. You're going to be reading chapter 17 of the Bedford Researcher. That chapter's on revising and editing. You're going to be working on a discussion forum that's a peer review exchange. You're also going to be doing an active reading journal that's called a self-review reflection. And you'll be turning in a peer review. Finally, your comp class test that I mentioned was going to happen this week has actually been pushed to next week. So you get off a little bit easy this week, so to speak. I know you all have been working really hard. So please know that I know this is a lot of work, and I'm really proud of all of you for sticking in here and really working hard. All right, let's talk about writing with style. The first thing you really want to be able to do when you approach writing about your topic and revising, making sure that your essay is written with style, is to understand how people write about your issue. Look at all of the articles that you've read and the books you've read and the websites you've read about your topic, and really understand the style in which people write about the topic. How do people write within the conversation you're joining? You want to make sure that you write concisely. That means you want to remove unnecessary modifiers such as fine, many, somewhat, great, quite, sort of, lots, really, very. Those are kind of empty calorie words. They don't really add any substance to what you're writing about. You want to remove unnecessary introductory phrases. These are phrases such as there is, these have, these are, here is, it has been reported that, it has been said that, it is evident that, it is obvious that, it goes without saying. And remove stock phrases, things like as a matter of fact, at all times, and the words that you see next to them. So instead of writing as a matter of fact, write in fact. Instead of writing at all times, write always. Instead of writing at that point in time, write then. At this point in time, now or currently. At the present time, then you'd write, instead of that, you would write now or currently. Instead of writing because of the fact that, just write because. Instead of writing by means of, write by. Instead of writing due to the fact that, write because. Instead of writing in order to, write to. Instead of writing in spite of the fact that, write although or though. And instead of writing in the event that, write if. So look for these phrases in your essay as you're revising and switch them out. It will really clarify your writing. You want to choose your words carefully. Now this is really important because I've noticed some of you, when you're writing your formal writing assignments, you don't always adapt an academic writing style. All academic writing should be formal. That means that you need to write in a restrained voice. That's a voice that doesn't show bias, okay? And you don't want to use any slang. You don't want to use any slang or any abbreviations. It's very important, such as LOL or something like that. You need to make sure that you're writing in a tone that you feel would be appropriate in one of these articles that you're reading about your topic. If you have any specialized language that you're using in your essay, this is specific terminology about the topic you're writing about. You want to make sure you define these terms to your reader, and you can do that right afterwards in not quotations, in parentheses. And also vary your sentence patterns, and variety really is the spice of good writing. So, revising and editing. This is what you're going to be working on this week. What should you focus on as you revise your document? And just to give you a heads up, this is exactly what you're going to be thinking about when you are doing your active reading journal, when you're doing a self-review of your own paper. Revising involves rethinking and re-envisioning your entire document. It focuses on big picture issues such as whether your argument is sound and supported, and whether you've organized and presented your information, ideas, and arguments clearly and effectively. So when you go into revising, you want to go in really bold, and don't be afraid to totally tear your house down to build up a new one, because it might be that it was an okay house, but what if you could make an awesome house, okay? So that's the way you want to approach it, is revision is about not being afraid to pull out whole paragraphs that you've worked very hard on because you have found a new way to present what you're talking about. The first thing you're going to do when you revise is check the clarity of your thesis statement. Um, you want to make sure that readers easily understand your argument and see that it supports your thesis statement. How have you used source material, your evidence from all your different sources in your document? Have you used enough evidence to support the claims that you're making? All your subtopics, are they supported with evidence? Have you addressed all reasonable opposing viewpoints? It's really important to think about counter arguments. What does the other side of the conversation say? And how can you refute what they're saying? How can you provide evidence to support that perhaps what they say is not correct without sounding biased? How well organized is your paper? Maybe you have your subtopics in a certain order. Try rearranging them and see if that supports your argument better. Is it easy for readers to find your thesis? Should be the last sentence in your introduction. Is it easy for readers to understand the main point and to understand the supporting subtopics? So these are the things I want you to really think about as you do your active reading journal this week. You're going to be doing a self-review where you really try to get in there and clean up your draft. When you're revising, you want to save multiple drafts of your document. One thing that I do is I always save it as draft 1, draft 2, draft 3. Now, I'm a poet, so I go through hundreds of drafts when I write something. But that's just my nature, the way I write. I don't expect you to write 100 drafts of your research paper, but I think it's reasonable to write 3 or 4 different drafts of this paper. Definitely, you'll be writing at least 2 more drafts as you go through this process of revision. You want to highlight your main point. As you're reading through to do your self-review, highlight your main point, your reasons, and your evidence. Grab a highlighting pen and just go through there and highlight it. Challenge your assumptions. So play the devil's advocate and ask, so what? Raise reasonable objections to ideas and arguments you present in your paper. That means explore the counter arguments. What does the opposing side say? Understand it. And remember, part of writing an argumentative essay is being open to changing your mind as you go through this process. Ask so what. As you read your document, ask why readers would care about what you're saying by asking so what. Re-outline your document. So that's part of re-envisioning the order things would be in. And don't be afraid to ask for feedback. You're going to get peer feedback this week. You're also going to get your feedback from yourself. If you have a partner or a family member that could read your paper, have them do that. Also, you can always reach out to me next week if you really would like some advice. I can't do a deep read of your paper, but I can definitely help you out if you have questions. So the next stage after you've done revision is editing. This is when you're really comfortable with the structure of your paper. You've gone through the revision process. The next stage is to focus on editing. That's when you look at it at the sentence level. You look at your document at the sentence level. Look for accuracy. Check your facts and figures against your sources. Always check your quotations to make sure they're correct. That's where you see a lot of mistakes. I can tell you that when I write, I often don't even realize I misquote something, and I always go back and check my quotations before I turn in a document. Check the spelling of every name. You don't want to spell someone's name wrong. Look at the economy of your document. You want to reduce the number of words needed to express an idea or convey information to your readers. This is going back to that earlier slide where you're looking at extra words that you have in there. Consistency. Treat concepts consistently. Use numbers consistently. If you're using just the numerals, do that. If you're writing out the words, 1, you can write the 1, but just write 1 throughout, or you can write O-N-E throughout, okay? Treat your sources consistently. Format your document consistently in an MLA style. Don't forget to check your MLA style. Focus on spelling, grammar, and punctuation. Please, everyone, before you turn in your paper, run spell check. Run it twice, all right? Look at each sentence at the sentence level in order to ensure every sentence contains a subject and a verb. Check punctuation to make sure it is accurate. So when you edit, you want to read carefully. You want to set your document aside before you edit it. So once you finish your revisions, stop, take a break, go for a walk, put it in a drawer, go to sleep, wake up the next day, and look at it. Then when you're actually editing, pause between each sentence for a quick check. One really good way to see your errors is to read it aloud, or to read the sentences in reverse order. Start from the end and read each sentence backwards. You don't have to read all the words backwards, but read it sentence by sentence backward. And always ask for feedback. You will be having a peer review your paper, so hopefully they will also be doing editing of your paper when they look over your peer review. Well, not hopefully, they will be doing it if they want to get a good grade on their peer review. All right, so that takes us to the peer review workshop. You'll be choosing one peer to peer review your paper during this week. And there's a number of steps. I'd like you to read these very carefully and make sure that you submit your paper very early in the week. Please do this as soon as possible. Post the draft that you turned in already. Just post that same draft as part of your peer review. Okay? You don't have to do your self-review yet. Step 1, please visit the peer review workshop and post your paper as an attachment to your post. Feel free to write a note to your peer if you have any questions for them. Please also post your preferred email address so your peer can contact you. You're also going to want to type up a elevator story. Now this is posted in the actual discussion forum, but type up your elevator story for your paper. That way they know where you're coming from, and when they read your paper they can see if your elevator story matches what you've actually written. Second, I want you to review the list of peers that have posted their paper already, and you're going to choose one peer to respond to. You're only required to review one of your peers' papers. You must review a peer's paper though in order to get credit. Step 3, once you respond to the post, you're going to download your peer's paper and fill out the peer editing checklist listed under lessons for week 6. You're also going to edit their paper. You're going to upload, you're going to print out their paper or do it on the computer by clicking on the review tab, just like you saw on the argumentative papers I turned back to you, and you're going to edit their paper. And details about this will be on your peer review form. Email the filled out peer review checklist and the edited draft of their paper to your peer by the end of the week. In order to receive full credit for this assignment, you'll also need to turn in the peer review that you did for your peer's paper to the peer review assignment listed under the week's content by Sunday at 11:59 p.m. Please revise your paper based on your own self-review and the peer review. And your final revised research paper is going to be due as part of your portfolio next week. Details will be posted this coming Sunday. All right, your self-review, as I've been talking about, you're going to be doing a self-review, and the self-review actions are listed on the under content for this week. So please review these. They are exactly the same as the ones I showed you on the slide. Next week, you're going to be turning in your final portfolios, and you'll just have your comp class final, and then you will be done with this class. So please put in, this is the final stretch really before next week, and then you're going to be done. So just keep up the good work, and as always, please contact me if you have any questions.